Okay. So we're going to talk about this idea of being here now, right? So if most of you that are probably listening to me have either been on some kind of a spiritual search for a while, or maybe new to a spiritual search, or you're old hat at it, doesn't matter, but you've always heard about this idea of trying to be here now, right? So why do teachers and philosophers and everyday people, even if you're not spiritual, talk about the power of now? And of course, that incredible book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. It's a great book, great book. So why do they always talk about be here now? What's the point of be here now, right? So in general, it seems to be an attempt to try to help the mind to not be in the past and not be in the future. So the mind is always reflecting on the past, or it's anticipating the future, right? So when the mind has not been trained enough, when you have an undisciplined mind, when the mind is constantly going to the past and all projecting into the future, that pretty much is the definition of an untrained mind. So the mind is neutral, but it is ours to do what we can do with the mind, right? In the Course in Miracles, Jesus says, you can do everything that I can do and more, but your problem is you have an undisciplined mind. So when it comes to this idea of being here now, it's really referring to how the mind is always pulling you, like, I regret doing that, and if I had a different upbringing, and if my mother didn't say that to me, or if I didn't marry that person, or if I would have taken that opportunity in the past, and then it's going, so that in the future I can be happy, and in the future I'll get the job, in the future this will happen, This is an undisciplined mind, right? So when we're talking about being here now, it's stopping that undiscipline and disciplining yourself to allow yourself to be. Take a deep breath. If you've listened to me for a while, you know that I'm constantly saying, take a deep breath. Why do I do that? Why do I do that? Because in that split second of taking a deep breath, you have an awareness and a conscious of what? Now. Your problem is not now. First of all, you don't have any problems. You have a perception that there is a problem. But your problem is always in the future and the past. As we're talking right now, there is no problem. Everything is exactly as it is. It's exactly perfect the way it is. So, okay, let me just stop here and let's see if you have any comments or questions as we move along. Hi, Kyrie says to keep my mind and body in the same place, right? Keep your mind and the body in the same place. Your body can only really be here now. That's for sure. That's for sure. Any other comments or questions about this? Okay. So one of the most famous, there's a couple, let's see, Steve. Hello, Steve. Yeah, but I am going to walk away right back to my problems, not complaining. Okay. That's the way it is. Okay. What's wrong? Well, let's... There's nothing wrong with complaining. There's nothing wrong with complaining, right? What do you mean, but I'm going to walk right away back to my problems? Yeah, I understand. I get it. Reality. Well, reality is whatever you make it. There's no real reality. Your problems aren't reality. They're not reality, but they are there. Now, let me say this. Steve, you're bringing up a great point. So I'm going to quote Jesus from the Course in Miracles again. One of my favorite quotes of all time. Your problem is you think you have a problem, and that's your problem. Your problem is you think you have a problem, that's your problem, because of the meaning you're giving to something. And that's an undisciplined mind. An undisciplined mind goes, oh, that's a problem, something's wrong, I got to fix it, something's wrong, I got to fix that, something's wrong, I got to run away from that, something's wrong, I need to, whatever happens to be. Because you're always, always, always in the dream state. We're always in the dream state, relating to everything as objects. Subject, object. The future is the object, I'm the subject. The past is the object, I'm the subject. This object-subject relationship is the thing, is one of the main things that keeps you from what? Being here now. Okay? So let's move on. And look at my notes. Next year. Okay. So, Ram Dass talked about it. His very first big book was Be Here Now. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. There's nothing at all wrong with any of these concepts. They're good, especially in the dream state. It's very important to understand you have an undisciplined mind that's going forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. Because in this moment, right now, it's all good. It's not good. It is what it is. It just is what it is, without putting a label on it. Now, I want to bring up something else. When we're trying to be here now, what we're really doing is we're trying to escape what is here. So if there's pain here, we go, wait a second, I can't have the pain. If there's sadness here, wait a second, I have the sadness. But there's sadness here now. There's pain here now, right? So we're constantly trying to run away from a state. We keep trying to change states all the time. We've talked about that here before. We're constantly trying to change states all the time, right? So being here now means if you're scared, you are scared. If you're sad, you're sad. If you are angry, you're angry. If you're in joy, you're in joy. If you're in anticipation, you're in anticipation. That's now. That's happening now. Now. The mind is doing that, but it's happening now. Does it make sense? Hold on a second. Hey, don't do that, please. Sorry, my cat. So that's what's happening. This is what's happening, accepting what is, even with an undisciplined mind. Even with an undisciplined mind, you're still feeling anxious. So what do? I don't want to feel anxious, so I have to run away from the now. We're just bringing this up. Nothing's right or wrong. Remember, if you don't know me, my name is Max Ryan. I'm a facilitator of conversations. Please don't do that. Sorry, my cat is climbing up my curtains right now. So I'm a facilitator of conversations. I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm not here to say this is the way it is. We're opening up a conversation here, right? Because you cannot, listen to me, you cannot not be in the now. Your mind will convince you that you're not, but you are. There is only now. That's it. That is it. There is only what? Now. There is nothing else. Take a deep breath. And let me say this. First of all, there's nothing wrong or right. So there's nothing wrong at all with trying to not be depressed. But don't kid yourself that you're trying to get into the now where there's no depression, because there's depression in the now, because that's what you're feeling. What you resist, what? Persists. You create what you defend against. So the more you try to get away from the now of depression, the more you're going to create more of it. Okay, what's coming up for people? What's coming up for you? Put it into the chat what's coming up for you. Hi, Christine. Christine says, Kitty's not in the conversation. That's right. It's also the morning time when they want to play. It's playtime. So what's coming up for anybody right now? Because you can't not be in the now. It's impossible not to be in the now. You can be deluded in the now, and the now may contain pain. The now may contain anxiety. So we're just throwing out ideas and having a conversation here. So what's coming up for you? Thank you for the donation. I can't think my way out of this real problem's real. That's exactly right. You can't think your way out of it because it's only your undisciplined mind that's going to try to think its way out of it. That's very good, Steve. Thank you for the donation. Lauren says, so if you're feeling sadness that's happening now, I thought that there was nothing wrong now. A Course in Miracles says that as well. That's right. That's true. That comes back to what I was saying about the undisciplined mind. But it doesn't mean that you're not experiencing it. You're experiencing it. There's nowhere in the Course in Miracles that says you shouldn't have bad feelings. You have bad feelings. Okay. Resist persists. Lynn says the now will soon change. That's very interesting. Because in the dream state, everything is moving and changing all the time anyway. Christine says, maybe we're only feeling sad or lonely because we are comparing present to our past. Very true, Christine. We're only comparing our present to our past. That's very true. Insky says, this is the third time today that I've heard or read what you resist persists. Huge lesson for me at the moment. Mind creating challenges, struggles, which I'm attaching to and identifying with genuine struggles at the moment. Very good, Insky. And that comes back to something that's very interesting that we talk about here all the time is the story. The story pulls you away from an awareness. Your awareness of what's happening. You're in the story. You get pulled into the awareness of something else, right? Lauren says, right, it's more about twisting the bad feelings. Sorry, resisting. Don't be sorry. It's all good. Steve says, I'm not resisting. I can't push it. It will explode. Say that again, Steve, just to make sure. I'm not resisting. I can't. I'm not resisting. I can't. Push it. It will explode. It will push back. That's good. Yeah, because what you resist pushes back, right? It always does. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be sad. And sad, this is very law of attraction. Everything does work on that principle of law of attraction. What you're focusing on, you get more of. So you're focusing on, I have a problem, you're going to get more of it. It's not saying that you don't, listen here, we're not saying to do unhealthy, mental activity here. We're saying, or to take care of things, we're saying that the bottom line is that if you're having in the now a resistance, that's what's happening. What's going to make it worse and keep you in the dream is going, I shouldn't be there. I shouldn't be there. I should be happy. I should be happy now. Let me find happy now. Let me find the love now. There's nothing wrong with what I'm saying, but we're just having a conversation here, right? Hello, Girl Rush. Maybe recognize the feelings without identifying them as good or bad. Very good. Very good. What's the second? Anyone know the second lesson of A Course in Miracles? Carol says, how do we make peace with what's happening? Why do you need to make peace with what's happening? If you didn't, what Girl Rush said, if you don't label it good or bad, then it is what it is. It's just what's appearing to happen. The second lesson of A Course in Miracles is, I'm giving everything the meaning it has for me. Why do you think he put that as the second lesson of 365 lessons? Because it's foundational to everything. You're giving everything a meaning. And in that meaning creates your gateway to heaven or your gateway to hell, or it keeps you in the dream state, right? So if you want to, if you're interested in having a resonance with what's here, then you're going to have to somehow have some Jedi mind training at some point to go, wait a second, this making meaning of everything is not helping. It's not helping. It's not helping. Good or bad. That's still duality. Carol says, Carol, does that make sense? You don't need to make peace with what's happening. So you're angry. So that's fine. Steve says, I don't know what the resistance is. Could be. I'm fully aware of what's kind of going on. That's okay, because the separated self, the egoic mind, lives in resistance. It lives in duality. It lives in duality. So it's always object, subject, past, future, bad, good, stupid, smart, accepting, unaccepting, right? Approval, unapproval, right? Love, hate. So that resistance is part of the makeup of the separated self. When it is resonated or the separated self seems to fall away, never really falls away because it wasn't real in the first place. When that seems to fall away, duality goes out the window. There's no more duality. This is why the Course in Miracles would say only love is real. Now, that word love conjures a whole other story. I can't tell you what that is. But everything about this whole thing about being here now is really, this is what I think, just my opinion, is really telling us or guiding us about truth versus illusion, duality versus oneness. Take a deep breath. Okay, Insky says, this morning I realized I need to review and reframe the 4 key manifestation statements I wrote with you in your session at the beginning of the year. I realized I've been recently focused more on and therefore manifesting the energy of what I don't want rather than what I do want. Very good. because the mind is undisciplined. Now that we're talking within the dream state here, right? So immediately we're undisciplined, we need to be disciplined. We're just looking at principle here. Because if you take this you can take it any way you want to, but we tend to be like, oh, I got to change that. Something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. That is staying in the same thing that's trying to get you to be here now. Because you can't not be here now. You're already here. I've used this analogy before. It's kind of like convincing someone, I have a hand, while you're looking at your hand. I have a hand, I have a hand, I have a hand. You have a hand. You are in the present moment. You can't not be. But for the sake of what we're doing here, take a deep breath. That might help you to remind you that you are here now. Okay, so let's look at your comments now. Let's see. Steve says, so what if you can't fix, I think, something with your own mind? You can't fix it with your own mind. You can't. So listen, Steve, just notice where the insanity is. Just notice where there's insanity there, right? So you can't fix it. That's just the way the separated self works. You're never going to fix the separated self. Most people are trying to fix the separated self. It's not going to be fixed because it'll be fixed for a little while and then it'll go right back into doing something else. There's nothing wrong with what I'm saying, but it's just insane. So trying to fix the self is kind of a moot point. It really is a moot point on some level. But the awareness of what is coming up in these conversations may start to resonate with you, something. That's all. And now I'm going to kind of end with this. You are not a problem to be solved. You're not. Your separated self, your egoic mind, has a lot of issues. But you're not a problem to be solved, because most people are walking around, especially if they're on any kind of spiritual path, they're like, I got to solve this problem called me because of my past and because I have to do this. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing. And you can also follow me on YouTube and TikTok. I'm really, really wanting to get to 1,000 followers on TikTok. We have almost 400 followers. I'm doing more things on TikTok. I did a funny one yesterday because I want to be able to live stream on TikTok. So go to Max Ryan Videos on TikTok. I would really appreciate that. Follow me there because I want to do some lives on there. I'd appreciate that.